All right, welcome. This is my second set of videos to help address a couple issues within the PyStar um, application. Some of the community out there has been telling me some of the issues, and so if you haven't seen my previous video talking about how to restore the links or the reflectors after an update, go take a look at it. It might be a great video for you if you're having that issue and everything. But this video is talking about a known issue within the PyStar community where if you lose your internet connection, PyStar doesn't really alert you. It doesn't tell you that you've lost your internet connection. So you can be driving down the road, take a phone call on your cellular device or whatever, and then lose your internet connection because you're on that call. PyStar doesn't reestablish that connection. And so you're thinking gosh, it's kind of quiet out there in the repeater today. Well, actually, no, it's pretty busy. It's just that you're no longer connected, and there's no way of alerting that to you. So what I've done is written a small little application. There's going to be two things we're going to do here today. First, I'm going to show you how to put that application. You're gonna write it on your PyStar. And number two, we're going to set up a process that's going to monitor your network, and that's using a product within the Linux community or within the Linux operating system called crontab. Crontab. Those are kind of like timers that we set up. Now, I want to make sure that you understand there is a cron tab, and when we get in here, there's a system cron tab. We don't want to adjust that. That is a cron tab or a process that runs as part of the PyStar application itself. We're going to create our own cron tab job because we want to keep the PyStar application as pure as possible. We don't want to make modifications to that because what will happen is that when you get updates and stuff, that stuff will get overwritten anyways. So we want to make sure that we keep the two separate, and we're going to talk about that a little bit. So let's dig in. If you haven't seen my previous video, some of this will be new, and I'll try to talk to it as much as possible. Get out there and listen to the other video as well. You might pick up some other tidbits. So the first thing we want to do is, if this is your main desktop screen, you want to go into configuration, and it's going to give you a little prompt saying boom, boom, boom. Now, some of the commands that I'll do here might not work on Mac, like the tab command, and I'll show you that here in a minute. But they might not work on your Mac if you're editing this stuff with a Macintosh. You're unfortunately going to have to type all the commands out and everything. So as you can see, we're in our PyStar here, our little configuration. What we want to do is we want to go to expert. All right. So inside the expert, it's going to give you a little warning. Hey, look, be careful. Don't jack your PyStar up and everything. That's what it's going to tell you. And remember what I said, that there's a system cron tab. This is the system cron. This is part of the application that runs in the background, and this actually means something. So this is what goes out and updates your PyStar on a daily, weekly, and it also sends data back to the developers of PyStar. I haven't looked at it yet to see exactly what it's sending back to them, but it does. And yeah, I'm sure. Hey, look, that's how they make the product better, right? Uh, you know, don't complain, right? If you're worried about your security, your information being given out, maybe this is not the product for you. I mean, they've done a great job, and the least we can do is share some information with them to make it a better product and stuff. So this is a system cron tab. You don't want to edit this, all right? I just want to make sure that you understand that. We're not going to be editing this. We're actually going to be editing our own cron tab, another cron tab outside of that. For this demonstration, we want to actually go and hit the SSH access. What this is this is actually the command line of the PyStar. If you had PuTTY or some other SSH client, you could use that. But this is easy. Everybody's got this. You don't have to download anything. It's right there, right? So let's use the tools that they give us. We don't want to overcomplicate this. We want to make this easy for you. So the first thing you're going to do is you're going to log in using the same username that you use to log into the control panel here. You're going to hit enter, and you're going to type in your password. And for those that have not seen my previous videos or don't know anything about Linux, when you type in your password in a Linux environment, don't be surprised or don't be going, oh, I'm not typing it in if you're not seeing the cursor move. I just typed my password in, you didn't see the cursor move. It's just blinking at you. That's by design. Obviously, they don't want to show you the password, right, as you're typing. And then number two, they're not going to show you the cursor moving, because if people are, looking over your shoulder or whatever, they don't, by seeing how many characters, maybe they can disseminate what your password is, right? And of course, if you sit here and talk, you're going to get connected. You're going to get timed out. So let me log in real quick over again, and you hit enter. After you type in your password, you hit enter, and that will take you into this. Now, when you see this, this is this is the login screen at the command line. In my previous videos, you can tell what kind of user you are by looking here. And also, if you're not a root user, and we're going to talk about root here, a root user or super user in a minute. But if you see a $sign, that just means you're a normal user. And that's just kind of another indicator. And then what user you are, your name is right here. The other thing you need to be aware of is, because of security reasons, and actually to keep you from jacking up your Pi-Star, they really want you to think about what you're doing before you actually do it. So you just can't come in here and start typing stuff. So they actually they make everything read-only by default. So that means you can't jack up your code or anything. But for this purposes, we're not going to jack up our code, but we're going to have to make some changes. So we have to have write privileges. Not only do we need to be able to read files, but we need to write and create files. So the way we do that in the Pi-Star world is we type in RPI-RW. So we're going to go ahead and type that in, RPI-RW, and we're going to hit enter. Now we can make changes to the system, right? But we want to take it one step further. We want to become root. And the reason why we want to become root, because then that way we don't run into any permissions issues. If I write code as a user and then root tries to run it, well, root can run everything, but it's a good practice that when you're doing like system or maintenance or management kind of stuff, you want to do that as root, because that way root is always running or always has privileges on a Linux operating system where users don't, right? Your privileges are only allowed when you're logged into the system. Well, you're not going to stay logged into this all day long, right? You're going to write your code, or we're going to write the code, and we're going to log out, and we're going to let root do its thing and just let it run in the background. So the way that you get to root is you type in sudo. You're going to hear that sudo user, su for super user, right? Sudo su. And this is how you switch from a user to root access. And when you hit enter, you're going to see some changes here. The first change is you're going to see the username become root. And in this Pi-Star, not all Linux systems do color coding like this, so don't think that this is a standard. This is actually part of the Pi-Star, the way that they have their editor set up. So you're going to go root, and then you're also going to see a hash sign or a number sign here. That is indicative. That's a standard Linux root designator. When you see a dollar or a hash sign or a number pound sign, that means you're a root user in the Linux community. So that's just a visual way of knowing. So the first thing that we want to do is we need to write some code. Yeah, that's right. We're going to write some code. Now I've already written my code. And the way that we're going to do this is that first we need to go to the right directory. And the way that we do that in the Linux world, we type in cd, and the directory we're going to is in user local bin. Bin directory, think about in the Linux, without getting into theory and how Linux works and stuff, the bin directory is basically where you put your executables. So we're gonna cd in there. Now the next thing that we need to do is we need to edit, or we need to create a file, right? And the file is basically the program that we're going to do. Now I've already created the file, but the way that you would do that in the Linux world is that you would type in vi, right? And then the file name, and then so I have the file called check_network. Now vi is virtual. It's a virtual edit, or it's an editor. Now you can use nano, you can use all sorts of things. Don't freak out because I'm going to show you the commands. So we're going to do the commands because this is an editor, so there's no GUI. In other words, it's not like Word or anything. You actually have to move the mouse and do things, but don't freak out because we're going to do each command one by one together. And so what you do is hit enter, and that's going to open it up. Now when you open up your editor, it's not going to have anything in here. It's going to be blank, right? So the first thing you're going to do is it's going to come up like this. It's going to come up blank. There's not going to be anything there. These are the commands, and I'm just going to put them there so I can reference them again. But we're going to retype them over again. Now, when you're in the editor, the first thing, when you want to insert, you're going to hit the I button, right? And when you hit I, you'll see a little message that says insert. Now, if you don't see the insert button, that means that the VI that is installed on your Pi-Star is an older version. Now, let's get out of here real quick. Let me get out of here, and I'm going to show you how to update that. The way that you update that in the Linux world. Now, if you see the insert, you're good to go, right? Don't worry about but this might be good for you. The way that you update your Pi-Star so that you can get the latest code is you go apt get apt-get space update is the first command that you want to type. Now that's going to go. You have to make sure your computer's hooked to the network, or your Pi is hooked to the network at this time. It's going to go out and it's going to look at all of the different sources out there, and it's going to pull those in. And this is not really updating your Pi-Star. This is updating your Raspberry Pi, the actual Raspberry Pi. So just let this run in the background. This is going to do its thing. There we go. So that's the first thing. That's the first step. So remember, I'm going to show you once again, apt-get space update. Updates your Raspberry Pi. Not done yet though. All right, because now we've told the Raspberry Pi to get and update all of its source. So think about this. This is like all the packages. It just reached out over the internet, and it grabbed all of the package, or all the locations of where all the packages are, where all the software can reside. Now your next step is that you want to do apt-get install VIM. This is the VIM. This is the editor that we're using, right? Now, since and you're going to hit enter, and it's going to come back. It's going to tell you here on my screen that it's already there. VIM is already the newest version. On your screen, it's going to say, do you want to install? And you'll just say yes. You hit the Y, and there you go. It will install it. It will go out and get it over the internet, and it will install it for you automatically. And then you're done. You're done. Now, you might have a case, another scenario, where, well, when you run VI, you'll be fine. And maybe we'll talk about Nano. That's another type of editor. I don't like it. Okay, I know a lot of people like it. I don't like it. So we'll talk about that. You might run into a Nano editor when we get into the cron tab editing and stuff. But we'll cross that bridge when we get there. So first, let's go back into the VI. And the way for those, I'm going to do that again. VI, just type in VI and make sure you're still in your bin directory. The way that you make sure you're still in your bin directory, you're in the right directory where this needs to go, is you type in PWD, and that's going to tell you the directory, and that's exactly where we need to be. And then you're going to go in here and you're going to type in VI check, VI, I call it check network, check underscore network. You should too, because in that way we're consistent. So you're going to click on that. It's going to come up. Now, remember, it's going to be blank. You're going to have these little tildes. These are called tildes, those little squiggly lines. Mine's already filled out. I'm leaving this up there, but we're going to retype it. We're going to do it all over again. And so I'm just doing this because I'm old and I can't remember things sometimes. So the first thing we're going to do is hit I. And as you can see the insert at the bottom down here, how it highlighted in the insert. There you go. Now the next thing is that You have to hit number sign, exclamation point, slash bin slash bash. That's going to tell the system it's called shell. So it tells it that this is a bash shell or bash script. So when it executes, it knows that because bash scripts have certain types of commands versus um, corn shells and all. Believe it or not, yeah, it's called corn shells. So there's different shells within the Linux community. We're going to use bash, which is pretty much the most popular. It's out there the most, but you can use other ones. But for our purposes, use bash. Let's not get complicated, please. Life is too difficult. You have other things you need to do. So there you go. So you're going to just type in that. We're still in insert mode, so the standard keyboard buttons, enter means enter, arrow up means arrow up, all of that. There's a lot of other commands you can do, but we're keep it simple, right? So we're going to we're going to hit the enter. We're going to hit enter again. Give yourself a little bit of space, and we're going to type in ping. Ping is a command that you tell the system to ping. The check. You're going to be checking. Um, you know, ping for a network connection. C4, not C4. It's not explosive like that. That's not what it means. These are protocol commands or switches that you put into the ping. Trust me on this. If you want to know what these mean, go Google it, right? And you can learn that. I can't remember what all these switches mean either. And so the next thing is you're gonna put in a known IP address. I use Google. This is 8.8.8.8. I use IP addresses. You could use google.com here, but then the problem is that you have to resolve that name. Everything over the internet, even though you type in google.com, resolves to an IP address. So that's just one more step by putting a name in there. So just go right to the source. 8.8.8.8 is Google's domain name server. It's always running. If that's down, something seriously screwed up has happened. You're probably on your ham radio right now working with the with the cert teams and stuff like that. If Google's not up and running, there's some serious stuff going on. So I use that. You can use whatever IP address you feel comfortable with, right? But that's up to you. All we're doing is we're just using that IP address. Your system every 2 minutes is going to go out and say, "Hey Google, you still there?" And Google's going to say, "Yeah, we're here." That's going to tell you that you're connected. Now, if you're not, then that's where the software, this code that we're going to do is going to kick in. The next thing is we're going to use the greater sign. So space, and we're going to type in greater sign. I got two spaces in there. So just one single space. Greater sign, one space /dev/null dev null. So we're saying basically if it's null, which means if it's nothing, if it comes back with nothing, we got problems. Houston, we got issues. The next thing is that now we're going to do an if statement. This, like I said, if it comes back as null, we got an issue, right? And I'm not gonna, the purpose of this is not to teach you programming. It's just to show you how to type this stuff in. And if you want to learn programming, give me a call. I'll be glad to teach you. So we're saying if it does not equal 0, that's what the exclamation point means, does not equal 0. So if the variable, this is a designation for the variable, does not equal 0, right? Then we have a problem. Remember, Houston, we have a problem. So if it came back as null, and that means it's not connected, what do we want it to do? Now, a lot of people can say, well, you can restart the network. You can do whatever. I just say, don't even mess around with it. Just shut the whole system down. And so you're going to shut down. The -R means reboot. So it's a shutdown with a reboot, and you want to do it now. Why jerk? Why wait around? And then you're going to say FI, which is the end if of the if statement. So you have an if statement, you're closing the if statement, and you're saying if it does not equal 0, then boom, shut it down. And that's it. That's the command right there. Now I'm gonna keep this up. I'm gonna show you how to get out of this. So I'm just gonna close this out. And like I said, normally it's gonna come up blank, but I'm gonna do that. So now, remember, we were at the insert, right? We're at the end of the command. We're done. We're done. This is it. This is the code. You're a programmer. Go get a job with Microsoft. So no, there's a little bit more than that. Um, Actually, Microsoft wouldn't hire you. This is Linux, so go get a job with Red Hat. No, so you're done. You've written your first piece of code. Pat yourself on the back, right? This is pretty cool. So now the thing is how do I save it, right? So the way you do that in the VI world, like I said, there's a ton of commands. I encourage you to go out there, Google VI editor. Maybe you can learn the commands because if you're going to be working with this stuff, these are the standard commands. This is you know this is we do this all day long as developers. But the way that we save that, you hit the escape key. That's the key on the very top left of your on an American keyboard. I don't know where it is on European keyboards, but in the American keyboards, it's at the very top left. So you hit the escape key, right? Doesn't do anything. Then you hit the colon. Those are the two dots, not the dot with a comma, but the two dots, the colon key, which is right next to the L key. So you hit escape colon right quit WQ. See that? Escape colon WQ. That means write it and then quit. And then when I hit enter, bam, bada bing, bada boom, done. Right? We're done. You just written your first program. Now, not out of the woods yet, because what you have to do is you've given this program, you've written it as root. I'm going to show you this. So you've written your code as root. If it's not green, that means it's not executable. Now, to make this code executable, what you have to do, mine is already executable, but it's very simple. Change mod chmod a plus x and the name of the code. So it's change mod space a plus x and the name of your code. So it's check network, right? So you type in ch. Now, if you're running a Windows box, you can hit ch tab and it will fill the rest of it out for you. If you're running Apple and stuff, it won't. You're going to have to type it out. I think that's Microsoft's way of saying you should be using Windows. Or, it's a Mac. So, so change mod A plus X, check underscore network. Hit enter, and that should change it. You can check it if yours is not green. You can go back. ls minus all gives you a little bit more information. That's ls minus all. That gives you more information. And you can scroll up and you can see that it's green. All right. So there you go. Step one, done. Right? Now we got to do step two. Cron tab. Cron tab, as I said earlier, because what we want to do is we want this thing to run every minute to 2 minutes just to make sure that we're still connected to the internet. Now this product, what we've written here, does not keep your connection alive. That's a keep alive kind of code. That's a whole different piece of code. All this is doing is just checking that your network is still active. That's all it's doing. Make sure you're still connected to the internet. Now, in cron tab, the way that you get the cron tab is exactly like I'm typing minus E for edit, right? You hit enter. See this screen? This is the nano editor. I hate this editor. I hate it with a passion. I don't like it. I never will, and you're not going to get me to use it. All right? I'm just set in my ways. You want to use it, you can figure it out. I'm not going to sit here away, so I'm just going to exit out of it for now. Now, if you get that editor and you want to change to VI for the editing the cron tab, I should have the command. I'm just arrowing up here, but this is the command that you need to type in to your system. I gotta find it. I'll find it. There you go. There you go. Export space visual capital equal VI. You're telling it to use the VI editor instead of the nano editor, right? In the system. That's it. So there you go. Export space visual equal VI. And you hit enter. There you go. That's it. So now when you run cron tab space minus E, it's actually going to take you back to that VI editor. Now when you see these pound signs, now you can use your arrow up and your arrow down to move around this. So what you want to do is you want to go, and I'm just gonna leave this screen up for you because you're gonna have to type this in exactly as you see it here. And we'll talk to this. Now, if you wanted it to send you an email, you could do that. I wouldn't do that because it will send you an email every time this cron job runs, this cron tab job runs. You don't want that because it's going to run 24/7, 365, and we'll get into the timing and everything. So this right now, it's going to do it every minute. Is the way this code is written. So don't mess with that. The next thing is, remember I told you bin bash. So we're going to tell it that we're going to run a shell script. So you want to type in shell equal, and you type this in. You know, don't skip. Just type this in. Trust me. If you want to learn what this does, reach out to me. I'll be glad to. I teach computer science courses on the collegiate level. I'll be glad to spend some time with you. Send me an email. Don't have a problem with that. I believe in helping people learn this stuff. Take the mystery out of it. So the first thing, and as I'm talking to you, you guys can be typing this. Now this is probably a good time to pause the video. This will be up there on your screen. Type it. Type it in. Type exactly what you see here. Right? So this is setting up your paths. It's kind of your Windows path. This is where everything's located, so the system doesn't, so you don't have to type in the actual commands, which I do anyways. That's just out of habit. But type the shell command in. Shell equal /bin/sh. Hit enter. Type in path equals /user/local/sbin semicolon. This is all you're doing is daisy chaining a bunch of paths together. User local bin semicolon or colon sbin colon bin colon user sbin colon. So anywhere where the code that we might need to run, if it resides in here, you don't have to. It's going to include it. That's what that is. So go ahead and type that in. Do it. Don't just do it. Right? The next thing is, now this is the clock. Now each one of these these stars actually are periods in time. And as you can see up here, it's done. See how it says minute? Read RTFM, as we would tell our college students. Read I won't do it. We'll keep it clean. But, the first set is minutes, hours, days of the month, year, that's what these fields mean, and you can go out there and learn this once again. I'm not trying to teach you how cron tab works. I'm just trying to get this up and running for you. So the thing is right now it's run for every minute. I want to change that. So I'm going to, of course, hit I. And if I didn't tell you that before, this is VI, so it's no different than when we wrote the code. You're going to have to hit I to insert something. So you hit the I. And then now I can use the back, move my cursor using my button. I'm going to say every 2 minutes. So I'm going to change that to 2. I was testing. And then you have, so you have */2 space star space star space star space star space, right? So every 2 minutes it's going to run. /user/bin /sudo. Remember how I said sudo switches you over to root user? You could just type in root here, but just do it this way. -H, that's a switch. Then we're going to tell what program we want to run, and remember that we put that in the user local bin check, and the name of the program is check_network. We put 2 greater than signs, and we're going to we're going to export the output to dev null. In other words, there's going to be output from that script that's going to say, hey, look, we're connected or we're not, and basically we don't care, right? We just want it to run. But it's good programming practice to output that data somewhere. But it's gonna what dev null means, put it out nowhere, right? Anything that comes off of this script, any output that comes from the script from running, just make it dev null. And the other thing is ampersand means just run it, continually run it in the background. So this is your command, right? You got it. Feel free to pause the video till you can type this command in, have it exactly the way I have it here. This is your command. This is all you got to do. So stop it right there. All right, when you're done typing, remember upper left, the ESC, escape. So you're going to say escape, colon, see it? WQ. Escape, colon, right, quit. And you're going to hit enter. There you go. That's it. You don't have to set permissions or anything with this. Now, what will happen is that when you lose connectivity, when you lose connectivity to your system, it will reboot. The way that we type it now, it's hard to show you how to do this, but you can bring your screen up if you have your Raspberry Pi connected or anything. One way to do it is that I'll just reach over here and just connect my Ethernet cable. Now you'll see, we'll wait 2 minutes or thereabouts, and you'll see myself lose connection. Now, the other way that you can do is you can use this command called, oh, I can't connect because I disconnected my connection. So you can disconnect it. The best way to check it to make sure it's working is hook your Raspberry Pi up to a monitor, and you can actually watch it reboot. So if you got it hooked up into a monitor, I forgot the cable. Oh my gosh, it's a late night. But if you hook it up to a monitor, and after 2 minutes, you'll see your Raspberry Pi just reboot if it's disconnected from the network. Now, what's really nice about this code that we just written, and mine just disconnected. What's really nice about this code that we wrote is that it works for either an Ethernet connection or a wireless connection. Either one of that. See, there it is. Now it's connected. See, session closed, and now it's going to, there you go. See, so you saw that it closed the session. The reason why it closed the session is because it got disconnected. And then now it's reconnected and everything is back hunky-dory. Actually, I think we can probably do this. Nope, because if I disconnect it, I can't, not here. So that's it. That's how you test it. Just, unplug it and you'll see it reboot. You'll see it reconnect. Now, like always, I'm going to tell you, if you have any questions or concerns, I'm on the Nature Coast on the Fusion site, so you can actually go to you can log in here to your configuration, and you can change your reflector to the Nature's Coast, and just give me a shout, man. I mean, I'd be glad to KN4KUU. Love to hear from you. Is my handle. You can also send me an email. Don't have a problem with that. The the email is jeff@kn4kuu.com. That's jeff@kn4kuu.com. I'll try to get back to you as soon as possible. If you have any questions or anything like that, reach out to me. I'd love to hear from you. If there's other issues that you're having, and with ham radio and everything, I'm a programmer. I'm a developer. I write code. So if there's things that are related to ham programming or anything, reach out to me. I'll be glad to help you. There's products that you're trying to figure out, like RT systems or how to program things. That's what I do. If you're gonna ask me about antennas and stuff, I'm the wrong guy. I'm still learning that. Myself. So I'm not the person that you need to be asking about antennas and repeaters and programming repeaters. But you know what I'm saying? Equipment. I'm not that type of guy. I'm a developer. I write software for this stuff. So come back, watch my videos. I am putting together a nice set of programming and videos on how to ground from the very beginning. As I'm sitting here looking at my stepper motors and my hack cards and my Raspberry Pis, I will be putting those videos together for you guys from the very basic on, from start to finish on how to build a satellite tracker. That's my next project. I'm getting that ready for next month, which is going to be the field field testing. We're going to do some satellite work. So come out, come to the site, tell your friends about us. And like always, I can't stress this enough. Get people involved in ham radios. Get your friends, your family members, people that you know, tell them about this stuff. Tell them about ham radios. It is still it is still the best way. I know we're so caught up with our cell phones and stuff. Ham radios, RF, it's out there. It's always going to be out there. It's going to be, it is from a, you know, I live in Florida, so from a disaster standpoint, with the hurricanes and stuff, I've gone weeks without internet. I, I've never gone without a ham radio. So I've always been able to communicate through a ham radio or through some RF method. Um, so get your friends, get your family, get them involved. Help us grow this community of ham radios. This is not. I'm a young guy. Uh, you're seeing a lot of videos of young guys and girls and stuff, women, doing ham radio. This is not an old timer kind of hobby. Young people, sciences stuff. Young people, we need to get more of them in there. So, please, I can't stress that enough. Reach out to the young people, get them in there, get them in, get them their technician, get them on the air, and everything. Like always, be well, take care of yourself, take care of your family, take care of your community. And 73 to you guys. And thank you for watching.